like that. Woo! What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull-Up Show. My name is BJ Matthews, a.k.a. B. Just before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull-Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe all of our YouTube videos by hitting that notification by the subscribe button. Our cash app right there in the ticker, $ BJ Matthews, where you can go and show your love to the Pull-Up Basketball Podcast, as well as go and buy our merchandise. You know what I'm saying? Red, black, and white Pull-Up Basketball Podcast shirts. $30 for the shirts, $35 for the sweaters. Keep you guys warm out there. I know it's pretty cold out there, you know, where you guys are at. But we got a good show for y'all today. You know what I'm saying? We got the LA Clipper talk. They prevailed 133-115. And I have a special guest for y'all today, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button when y'all come in here. I got a special guest for y'all today. He is a Clipper faithful. He has his own YouTube channel on Don Dropper. Locked on Clippers. You can find him on YouTube. I'm going to put that actually in the comment section after this video is finished and complete. But we got a good special guest for y'all today. You know what I'm saying? Darian Vaziri, my guy. Welcome to the show, bro.
Thanks so much, man. I'm sorry it's taken this long, but I'm happy to finally be on.
Oh, we had to get you on, man. I know we kind of been having a little bit conflict of schedule, but I'm glad to get you on, you know, the show. You know what I mean? I love what you do on your show and how you promote the Clippers. And you're probably one of the best Clipper channels I've seen, if not the best, because of all the information you put out there. So, little background, you know what I'm saying? Because we all know this is a Clipper channel for the most part. Where are you from? How did you become a Clipper fan? And what it's been like for you since you've been a Clipper fan? Just give me a brief, introduction.
Well, appreciate the kind words, man. Always trying my best. But live out here in LA, grew up, eventually a kid's going to get in, start messing with basketball. For me, it was when I was 7 years old. And it was the 05-06 season. And Kobe, this was post Shaq, so he didn't really have a great supporting cast, and the Clippers were like right neck and neck with them in the standings this year. And I remember my first basketball game. I wanted to go to a basketball game really bad. January of 2006. My parents took me to Clippers and Suns, and we got beaten by like 10 points by like the Steve Nash 7 seconds or less Suns. And I remember I was really sad after the game, and I was like, well, Kobe's going to get him. The Lakers will beat him. The Lakers are the number one team. They'll do it. They didn't do it. They got beat even worse. So it made me think a little bit like no one's messing with the Clippers. I've always been a fan of things that other people don't, just like D-Ride and stuff. You know, I'm a big fan of the underdog. So the Clippers just kind of resonated with me, and they were better that season. I think that was really the tiebreakers. They were really better that season than the Lakers, had a much more well-rounded team. And then a couple weeks later, I went to Clippers-Lakers, and I was rooting for the Clippers going in. And when we won by 20, that was it, and I was locked in for life. So I've been going to games ever since. I think it's part of my identity that I'm a Clipper fan now at this point, man. Like I've gotten made fun of so much growing up in school in LA about being a fan of the Clippers. The wins feel amazing when they happen. It feels unlike anything else in my life when it comes to sports. And then the losses are obviously so painful. There's a lot of them. Heartbreakers.
Yes, it is. Hey, Miss Davis, appreciate you coming through the show. Thank you. Hit that like button when y'all come in. So a little bit of, backtrack. Laker, Clipper, you all know this is a Laker town. I'm from San Diego. So it's kind of crazy. The Clippers were in San Diego before LA, which you already pretty much know. So they didn't get no love in the 2000s. Like Kobe was my favorite player, but I never really clinged on to the Lakers because I don't know. I just never got down with that team. I love Kobe, but I just didn't ever get down with the team. The Clippers grew on me more so with Lou Williams, Patrick Beverly, Montrezl, that team, because I feel like they were an underdog, hard-fighting team. And now the Clippers are now a championship team with Kawhi and PG there, but we all know in the 2000s, they weren't getting no love. It was all the Lakers was the big brother. The Clippers were just getting stomped on game after game, year after year. And now it feels like it's the other way around. The tables are turned. So talk about, is it kind of like a unusual feel that the Clippers have been beating up on the Lakers like the last 36 out of 41 times?
Definitely unusual. I mean, that's a franchise where when Kobe was there, more often than not, you go into games thinking you're definitely going to lose. And the fact that I'm basically considering it a win before we even played them every single time just shows how much things have changed. At the end of the day, though, the overall dynamic still hasn't really changed because the Clippers can beat the Lakers all these times in the regular season all they want. But until you win a championship, the Clippers will not be seen as anything serious in Los Angeles relative to the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? It's just always going to be, it's beyond little brother. It's still a little bit of a, I don't want to say we're a laughing stock anymore, but people still laugh at the Clippers' misery. And that's because, you know, until we win a ring, we're not going to be taken very seriously. We're always going to be we went from being the doormats to now we're pretenders. So we're evolving a little bit, but until we become champs, like the Laker fans won't give us any respect like that.
Yes, sir. Young Africa, appreciate you coming through. You know, my brother from the motherland. Brown was the best player on the floor yesterday. So we're going to get into all that. So basically, at the end of the day, we both being from California, Southern California. You're right. It's always going to be a Laker town. That's just the reality of the situation. And what I like about you is that you're a realist. Even though you're a fan of the team, you're a realist. You know, I played ball, you know what I'm saying, overseas, played, you know, semi-professional, all that stuff. And I like to root for the Clippers, but I don't disrespect the game at all.
Right.
Like if a team has your number, if a team's better than you, I'll give that team credit. But the Clippers, I'm looking for that championship. I'm not even looking at the Battle of LA no more. There is no more Battle of LA. It's basically we need to create an identity and get us a championship, because once we get that championship, I feel like that's going to get the monkey off our back. Because you're right. We beat the Lakers 2 straight years in a row, and it's you ain't got a championship. And that's one of the most annoying things to hear, because it's like, okay, let me put that on my back card, Laker fans, and that's pretty much it. Even though the championship was years and years ago, that's all they can say. Oh, you ain't got a championship. So we got to get that done. One last question. What's the best feeling you had as a Clipper fan so far?
Oh, it's not even close. Game 6 against the Jazz. You know, when we talk about the Clippers, that whole second round thing, growing up, it was beyond not even just you never won a championship. It was always Clippers never even made it past the second round. You guys are conference finals virgins. You'll never make it out of the second round. I heard these all my life, and I'm not going to lie, man, it hurt. Like, it really hurt to hear these things. Like, even though I had no control of the results, it really feels like someone's saying something like personal to you. So when Terrence Mann had that game and Paul George led the way and I was in the building, I mean, one of the best days of my life as a person, not just as a sports fan, as a person. Like, it felt like I couldn't believe what I was watching. Like, we really did it. It felt like after the bubble, man, it felt like the basketball gods were not going to let us get past the second round. Like, we were never going to do it. Like, it was, everything has to go wrong right before we're about to make it past the second round. So for finally something to happen where we broke through that barrier and got that monkey off our back, to me, I don't think that, you know, going to the championship and winning it is far-fetched anymore. Before that, I would have said, yeah, I would love to see the Clippers make it out the second round before I even start talking about championship. But now, impossible is nothing at this point. We made it past the second round. I think we can still win a championship one day, even if it's not with this Kawhi and Paul team. But I was going to say, where overseas did you play? Like, what country did you live in?
So I played in Vietnam. I had a country, Dubai. I had an offer to go to Portugal. Didn't take it. Had a little bit of stint in like the NBA G League, like trying out and stuff. Like, so all those jerseys back there are where I played at.
That's dope, man. Vietnam, that's deep.
It was cool, man. It was a blessing, you know what I mean? Just playing basketball, you know, getting paid to do it and getting a chance to travel. I was very, you know, fortunate and thankful for that. And yeah, man, basketball just been my life since I was 4 years old. So it's been about 20 years.
Man, so you point guard, I'm guessing?
Yeah, point guard, shooting guard.
Combo guard.
Yes, sir. But yeah, it was crazy. I was in the building too for Game 6.
Man,
where T-Man had 39 points. I was in the building as well. So, and we were down by like 25 points in like the second half. I was just like, man, this game's over. And if we go back to Utah, we're not winning the series.
And you know, man, you could feel the atmosphere, man. That was a special night. The whole second half, everybody was on their feet.
Yeah, man. We were high-fiving each other. And I think it was when Reggie Jackson, I think he got an and one bucket with a left hand. I think that's when I feel like, okay, we got the game under control. I feel like that's when it got under control. But let's get into it, man. You know, the Clippers prevailed yesterday, 133-115 over the Lakers, as y'all can see right here. And also follow my man on Locked On Clippers YouTube page. Everybody in the chat, make sure y'all follow my guy, Darian Vaziri. Great content he puts out there. You know what I'm saying? Unbiased, but he also is very loyal to the Clippers. But let's go into it, bro. So we watched the game last night. What did you see from the Clippers off the gate to actually give them the edge over the Lakers for another win?
immediately Patrick Beverley's guarding Kawhi. So we got to spam that isolation right there. And very quickly he had 2 buckets. And then Marcus Morris had a really tough shot over LeBron. Paul George hit a 3 over Troy Brown. And just like that, it was 9-0. But they have small guards like Dennis Schroeder, Patrick Beverley guarding our superstar wing scorers. So I know it's sometimes iso ball is a good thing. Make these guys guard. Don't let the defense off the hook. If they have guys that shouldn't be able to guard certain players, get them the ball. They started double teaming, and that's what opened it up for everyone else. When you got guys getting hard double teams before they even have to make a move, man, that makes life so much easier for us. And we just start swinging the ball. We got shooters everywhere. And finally, they were all hitting on the same night. You know what I'm saying? It feels like we have not had a night like that where everyone's hitting at the same time. So finally, we had that game.
Basically, you're right, because the thing I hate about our team, man, we start off so slow. Like the entire year, it's been the same thing, starting off slow, getting the bad rotations out. That's why I was kind of like so hesitant, or I was happy that we had Reggie off the bench. Because last year, what Reggie did was big for us. I think that's carried on to this season. I feel like we've been starting the games too slow. We got to actually pick up the pace. We have to actually, you know what I'm saying, start fast. And that's going to transition for the rest of the game. But you're right. The 9-0 run, you know, to start the game off. Kawhi hitting 2 jumpers. Paul George hitting that 3, step back 3. Timeout for the Lakers. And I think the reason why, you can tell me what you think, but while the Lakers struggle so much with us, it's very simple. It's the wings. The wing depth that the Clippers have, the Lakers just can't match it. Like people keep saying, well, wait to the playoffs. Laker fans, I hear this all the time. Wait till the playoffs, it's going to be different. Nah, it's not going to be different because the Clippers, their personnel, how they play, and also their wings are just too much for the Lakers. So styles make fights, and unfortunately for the Lakers, they don't have the style to beat the Clippers. What you think about that?
That's facts. I just think we have a better roster. And for them to say, you know, wait till the playoffs, I mean, that would assume that the Lakers and the Clippers are going to play in the playoffs. It's been 39 years we've been in the same city, and that just hasn't happened yet. And until it actually happens, I won't believe it's gonna, to be honest. It's been so many years we've been talking about this LA playoff series. So nah. And plus, yeah, what you said is facts. And the way they built their roster this season, man, their problem last season was they didn't really have any wings. It was like Melo, who else? Kent Bazemore, LeBron. And then this season, they didn't really address that. Right. You know, this offseason. And that's the most peculiar part about their roster. They didn't go address that when it's the biggest thing to succeed in the NBA today is to have good wing players.
Yeah, and shout out to my man Kess, said BJ and Dime Dropper. Y'all ain't playing. Salute. Yes, sir. Salute. Make sure y'all hit that like button and go follow my guy, Darian Vaziri, on his YouTube page, Locked On Clippers. Go do that right now. I will put that into the screen after the video. But what I also liked about the Clippers, as y'all can see on the screen, they spread the points around. If you look at Kawhi 25, PG 27, T-Man 17, Reggie 19. Reggie gets off on the Lakers for whatever reason, even he's having a slow slump. He gets off on the Lakers, and Norman Powell at 22. So that right there actually puts us in a position where we can just kind of like do what we want to do to the opposing team when we're sharing the ball. You know, they've been kind of promoting LeBron 46 points, but I just think that it's ESPN, it's the Lakers, you know, they're going to promote LeBron, cool. But I think the bigger story should be, why can't the Lakers beat this team? The Lakers have beat the Nuggets twice. They've beaten the Grizzlies, and they've beaten the Sacramento Kings and the Pelicans, all top 4 teams in the Western Conference. Why can they not beat this Clipper team? And why could they compete with those teams? What you think about that, Darian?
I think it comes down to what you said. It's the matchups. They got no wings. Like the only ones they got are LeBron James and Juan Toscano Anderson. And then like Lonnie Walker and Austin Reeves, you can say they're like kind of wings, but they're more like guards, you know, shooting guards. And it's just not enough. I also think there is a psychological thing to the Clippers play extra hard against the Lakers. We're the little brother. We're the one that you feel like a second-class citizen, whether you're a part of the team or you're a fan of the team. So the big bad Lakers, I mean, the Lakers are always going to get everyone's best shot. And that's no different than when we play them. So I think it's also a psychological thing that the Clipper players go extra hard against the Lakers as well. And as you said, and you know, the also main thing, LeBron never has a crazy game against us. Finally, he did yesterday, but like Were you ever scared last night?
No, not at all. Because this is what I've seen. I saw LeBron. He had, I think, 15 in the fourth quarter. His 3-ball just went. It just started going in. And that's what he will do at some occasions. He'll just start shooting the ball that step back 3, side step 3. But the game was never out of control. I don't feel like they even led at all last night. So the Clippers just had the game under control to the point where LeBron, he can just shoot, shot jack, whatever he wants to do. And it's not going to really change the dynamic of the game. So I was not afraid, not one bit. What did you want to add to that? I think you wanted to add something.
No, I was going to say that's a good point you made, that I don't think we trailed at all last night. I think that was a wire-to-wire win, if I'm not mistaken. Went up 9-0. I don't remember them ever taking the lead. So, and then to your point about LeBron, yeah, I think when LeBron is killing, that's obviously the best version of this Laker team in this era of Laker basketball. And we've always had the wings to combat LeBron. So you know what I'm saying? He doesn't abuse us. It's Anthony Davis that scares me more because the way he can take over the game on both ends. And whenever Anthony Davis doesn't play, I'm very confident we're going to beat the Lakers.
For sure. And
also don't defend, I might add as well. They're not a great – without Anthony Davis, they're not a good defensive team in the slightest. So it's easy to score against them without AD.
Good point. And I think – and this is what goes back to why I say styles make fights, right? Like, the Lakers are not a bad team. And I get kind of annoyed keep hearing this. They're a bad team. It's not that they're a bad team. It's the fact that they have to, when they have like a weak point like the Wings, it's just that we exploit it. But if they're beating these teams, like I think Denver, I don't want to go off track with the Clippers, but I feel like the Lakers can give Denver problems.
Yeah, they have a historically good matchup with them, it seems, in recent history because of AD. I think he kind of gets under – I don't want to say gets under Jokic's skin because Jokic's numbers are still pretty good against him. But if anybody could go – you want to throw out there in the entire league to try to do something about Jokic, it would be Bam Adebayo or Anthony Davis. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Hey, make sure y'all hit that like button. Shout out to my man Andre B, Philadelphia fan, Locked On Clippers. Yes, sir. Go ahead and hit my guy, Locked On Clippers. But speaking of the Nuggets, bro, that seems to me, in my opinion, y'all, you can expand on it. The Nuggets are our kryptonite. Kind of give us an idea of why the Nuggets, we struggle so much, and also what do you see we need to do to get over that hump and actually beat the Nuggets? And do you see any other teams that can give us problems?
I definitely agree that the Nuggets are the biggest threat to the Clippers, and they're our worst matchup. And I think part of it is because Aaron Gordon and Jeremy Grant, who they previously had, are pretty good guys to throw at Kawhi because they physically are his size and are strong as well and fairly athletic. I mean, in Aaron Gordon's case, he's really athletic. So I think that's just number one. Secondly, having another guy like a KCP or Bruce Brown to throw at PG is also really good. But the main thing is we struggle to guard the very, very hard to guard Jokic and Murray pick and roll. Like Jamal Murray against us, he turned like, I think he's a star caliber player for sure, but he's never made the all-star team. But against the Clippers, he plays like the best version of himself every time. So I think part of what the Clippers can do to do better against Jamal Murray is, as we always say, have the defensive-minded guys out there. Keep doing this wing-heavy lineups, these wing-heavy lineups we've been leaning into recently, and throw better defenders at Jamal Murray. I feel like oftentimes we have our Reggies in and our Kennards and whatnot. And a lot of times, we don't have Kawhi and Paul George both playing against them. So it's nice when you actually have your best options defensively. But with the Jokic-Murray pick and roll, this is hard to guard because you got to pick your poison. You can't switch that because you're not going to switch certain people on a Nikola Jokic. You're just not. And in the pick and pop, man, if you throw two guys at Jamal Murray, because he's got a great in-between game, you throw two guys on him to take away his immediate shot off the screen, then there's Jokic, and now he's got options, and he's such a great passer. I mean, it's so hard to guard. So that's, to me, why the Denver Nuggets are such a problem for us.
So how do you think we fix that problem, and who else do you feel like can give us problems, or if anybody else could give us issues in the playoffs?
I think we need to get one serviceable backup big just in case for that Nugget series, in case Jokic gets Zoo in foul trouble and our small ball wing heavy lineup off the bench gets cooked. Like Robert Covington last night. He had a tough time at the 5 against Wenyen Gabriel. If Zoo gets in foul trouble and we have to resort to Robert Covington in the playoffs against Jokic, that could be really problematic. So we may need to just go get a backup big for a series like that. But overall, especially when Jokic is out of the game, definitely can run with the small ball lineup of 3 wings or 4 wings even and a guard. And Kawhi and Paul need to also just, I think this is a huge thing with Denver. Every time we play them, Jokic is the best player on the court. If Kawhi is not the best player on the court, we have a hard time. It's a tough task, honestly. If we can have 2 of the 3 best players in the series against them, which it should be that way, then I think we have a better chance. But it's always Jokic and Murray are 2 of the top 3 best players, however you want to slice it. But I also think we don't play them enough with all 4 of our guys to really assess it.
So you said a couple
sorry,
things.
all 2 of our guys, both of our stars. I'm sorry.
No, you got it. You said a couple interesting. First of all, you said the last thing you just said, the 2 of our stars, Kawhi and PG, have to be the best players on the court. And reality, they should be. Honestly, if you tell me Jokic and Murray at their best versus Kawhi and PG at their best, I'm confident with Kawhi and PG. The problem is that that bubble situation, I feel like is somewhat still a black hole. But even recently, even the last couple of times we played them, it's been Jokic and Murray been the best players on the court. And that has to change. And I also feel like as far as the serviceable big, because we got Moses Diabate, Moses Brown to back up Zubac. I like Diabate's energy. I just think he's too undersized for Jokic. And I like Moses Brown's effort, but I think that he's just his coordination and him, is off balance. I think throws us off. So I wouldn't be opposed to somebody like a DeMarcus Cousins. I think even though we had him before, I think he'd be somebody to give Jokic some issue because he did play with the Nuggets last year, and I think he would know how to actually play with Jokic and actually be physical with him. Because let's say that we don't get a serviceable big. Let's say we just, worst case scenario, we have to go with what we have. The only way I could see us really being competitive against the Nuggets is if we have to use all of our wings like Batum, Covington, Kawhi to really help on Jokic, like front him in the post. If we cut the head off the snake with Jokic, I think we have a better chance of winning that series on top of Kawhi and PG being the best 2 on the court.
Yeah, if we limit Jokic and, don't let him just carve our defense apart, then we have a great chance. But we haven't seen that, honestly. And I think a lot of teams, not just the Clippers, are having trouble limiting Jokic because he's just been killing everybody. I mean, the guy's on a tear. He's having an amazing stretch these last couple of years. And it would, the first team that can kind of slow him down a little bit, they'll be successful. I hope that can be us. But I don't know. Like even last year in the Nuggets Warriors series, Draymond did have some good defensive possessions against him like late in games, but he was averaging 30 plus in that series. He was still, the fact that he made it 4-1 and then some of the games were even close just shows how great he is. I hope, we haven't seen him really. I can't think of the last time he had like a truly bad series. I think the Lakers series against them in the bubble was not great. But the last couple of years, I mean, he's been great in the playoffs. He just hasn't had Murray. So, and it'll be interesting to see it. I just hope we don't see them until the conference finals. I don't want to play them second round.
No, you're right. And here's the thing. Also, Amir put this comment. He said, we need discipline versus Denver in a big. I think what the problem with us is, and I'm kind of surprised, we're not alert on off-ball defense when we play Jokic. That's where you have to be alert because he can make any pass on the court. You have to know when back doors are coming. You have to know when side passes are coming, skip passes, all that stuff. You have to be alert where you're at. And guys like Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nicholas Batum have to be on their P's and Q's at all time, Kawhi and PG even. Because what's the point of having all of our wings out there if you're getting beat backdoor, if you're getting beat to the spots? Because Jokic is going to find his teammates. And to me, this Denver team with KCP, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr.'s back, they have a lot of guys who are active on the offensive end who can score and they can slash to the bucket. So the Clippers have to be on their P's and Q's no matter what when they play this team. What do you think about the Pelicans? Do you think they serve as a threat to us?
I think they're dangerous, but I would still take our chances against them in a series because Zion has never played in a playoff game before in the NBA. This would be their first time playing in a playoff series with that big 3. And they've only played, this is their second year together with this big three with McCollum, Ingram, and Zion. And Zion's out right now, and Ingram's been out a lot. They just haven't had much continuity, much like us with the stars. I think, honestly, we've had more continuity if you think about how long Kawhi and Paul have been together. And also, we have more playoff experience. So I would be nervous playing New Orleans in the first round. I'm not going to lie. But if it was the second round and we're playing New Orleans, I would actually be happy to play them, a team like that deep. However, I don't know if New Orleans will win a playoff series this year. They're going to be so good going forward, but they trouble us because they're young and athletic. That's the thing. But overall, when push comes to shove, they don't scare me too much because I still think we have the experience and we have the best player in the series. And honestly, maybe the top two, depending on what you think, Zion and Ingram versus Paul George.
I think we would have the two best players. I think Kawhi would be the best player for sure. And then you got Ingram and Zion, but I think PG, from what he's done and how he showed he can carry a team, I think that he would be the second best player. He just has to play like it. And I got to the point where I trust PG. I think after that 2021 run, I think last year how he carried the load, even though it's only for like, I think 33, 34 games, he's shown himself to be the guy since Kawhi's been out. So I feel like I can trust him with Kawhi there. But yeah, I'm with you. I think the one thing I say the Pelicans can give us some troubles because of our interior. Guys like Valanciunas, guys like Zion, Larry Nance can give us trouble in that interior, and they got long athletic wings. The one thing they do not have, though, they don't really have strong guards outside of CJ McCollum. So we can exploit that. We can exploit that situation with Norm and Reggie and Luke Kennard and, Wall. Like, we can actually exploit that. So let's talk a little bit about something also I want to kind of get into. We got a good stretch of games coming up right now. We won the last 3 games against the Spurs, the Mavericks, and the Lakers. But I came on in here and said a few weeks ago last week that we need to actually go on a winning streak. We need to actually go on this winning streak. So we got the Spurs up tomorrow, and we got the Hawks coming up on a 5-game road trip. So when you look at this right there, you expect us to go on a winning streak with these last 2 games, and how do you feel like we're going to finish going on the road against the teams like the Cavs, the Bucks, the Bulls, the Nets, and the Knicks?
Well, I think that you got to just take it one game at a time. I know that's really cliche and everyone says that, but you just got to take it one game at a time for multiple reasons. One, because we just got to enjoy that Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are healthy, man. You just never know what's going to happen from game to game. So the fact they're healthy, I'm just excited for the next game. But the second thing is, with all this load management going on in the NBA, you don't know if we're going to be playing a full strength team of these teams. Like tonight, the Denver Nuggets sat everyone out against Milwaukee. So that's not playing against a true Denver Nuggets team. So I don't care if the Spurs load manage or not. We should definitely beat them, make it 4 straight. That Atlanta game is going to be tricky because we have a back-to-back. That's our only back-to-back till March that I keep mentioning. It'll be interesting to see the decision they make, which game Kawhi plays and which game he doesn't. Will Paul George play? Will he sit out one? But the Hawks have been really wishy-washy lately. I think if everyone keeps saying, the Clippers' strength of schedule is so tough to end the season. You know this, man. We're Clipper fans. If the Clippers are playing their best basketball, it doesn't matter who the hell we play. These teams are not that great. There's a lot of really good, there's a lot of mediocre to good teams in the NBA right now. Very few great teams. And when the Clippers are on firing on all cylinders, we are one of those great teams.
No, I like that, bro. I like that. Make sure y'all hit that like button. We got 15 people in right now. Let's go hit that like button. So I feel like one thing with the back-to-back, I think Kawhi's going to play against the Cavs. Because let's just be honest, bro. Like that game that we lost to the Hawks a couple weeks ago, we should have not lost.
Absolutely
at all. So it's like Kawhi be cool, but we don't necessarily need him. I think with PG, we should be able to hold the fort down, and then him come against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and we should be able to beat them too. Like it's time for us to make a statement. I really feel like the last game that we really made a statement. We got the Mavs the other night, but I also think when we played the Celtics, we beat them by like 20 points. But it's time for us to get out of it. We're like the 5th seed right now.
The problem with that Celtics game was, though, we immediately went on like a big losing streak after. So like we made a statement in that game, but we didn't follow it up telling people that we're here. Hopefully these games that we're winning, we're going to make a statement by stringing together, as you said, a winning streak.
Right on, right on. So speaking of which, how do you feel about how Ty Lue's been handling this situation? So I've had my dealings with Ty Lue. Anybody here will tell you. But I told myself, okay, let's see what happens down the stretch of the games and stretch of the season. How do you feel about Ty Lue right now?
I think, I'm a big Ty Lue advocate. I defend him all the time, but he's had a tough season just because there is such a thing as too much depth. And the Clippers brought in John Wall. They wanted him to fulfill a need. And he feels like he had to play all three of those guards, Kennard, Powell, and Wall, all of them coming off the bench. And he would play them all at once at the expense of Robert Covington and Terrence Mann. So all of a sudden, all that stuff about the Clippers have so many switchable wings. We're just having guards that, they'll switch, but none of them are great defenders. So now we're totally not seeing the team that we expected. We're not stopping teams. And then offensively, when we go small with that kind of lineup and no center, teams are just going to switch everything on us and make John Wall or Norman Powell go one-on-one. So it becomes very stagnant. So it's been tough for Ty Lue. I really think he's had some tough decisions to make, but eventually he has really shown to me he's an offense-first mind. Because Terrence Mann and Robert Covington taking till this long to get the minutes that they're getting just shows that he values other things more until it's too late. And eventually, that's my thing about Ty. He adjusts, but he takes a little too long sometimes. We shouldn't have had to go down 2-0 in the Jazz and Mavs series, especially the Mavs series, until the adjustments are made. But as long as he does it, unlike Glenn Rivers, I'm cool. So right now, it seems like he's trending in the right direction. We're seeing a lot more Rocco. Terrence Mann is starting, and he's quit running three guards at the same time. But when Kennard and Wall comes back, is he going to have the, I don't want to say the discipline, but the balls kind of to tell somebody, look, when we're fully healthy, you're probably not going to play that much or at all. So we'll see how that goes. But I think he's trending in the right direction.
Yeah, and you know what? That three-guard lineup, that does not work. I don't know why he did that, because my thing is this. The amount of players and wings we had, what I was thinking what we should have did was split the wings up. So we have the first group has, so many wings, and the second group should have enough wings where we don't need to do that three-guard lineup, and we can stagger some people's minutes and make it workable. When he kept putting in John, Norm, and Luke at the same, I'm like, that's just going to exploit us on the defensive end. We really don't have to do that. So I think that was a mistake. I think Robert Covington, I don't know what in the hell happened, why he didn't play Robert Covington, because he played all that time last year. He was playing them DMPs and 8 minutes and 5 minutes. Even last night, he had 12 minutes last night. I don't know what it is with him and Rocco, but he's not playing them, I thought, the minutes he should. Terrence Mann finally got minutes. He's finally getting high production. Now, we're going to get into that as well, because I know me and you had a discussion about who should start. And you saying Terrence Mann should get started. A lot of my fan base believes the same thing. So kind of going to Terrence Mann, what you like about T-Man? What does he bring to the Clippers?
I didn't even care if Terrence Mann started or not, but I just think that Terrence is the only player on our team that we can guarantee he's going to play hard every night. We can guarantee he's going to play really hard. He's one of the better players on our team at navigating, like getting over screens, and he actually takes the challenge of guarding the best players on the other teams. He'll pick up 94 feet. He's one of the better players on the team in transition, and he actually gets to the basket, man. Whereas a lot of players on our team, we're jump shooting team. We have a lot of old guys. He adds athleticism, and he cuts to the basket, man. Marcus Morris and Reggie and even John Wall, they're very, when they don't have the ball, they stand still. Terrence Mann, Nico Batum, they cut. So I love that about him. And obviously, we mentioned it earlier, but to have the performance he had against Utah, that made him a Clipper legend right then and there. So.
Yeah, I've always see. This is the thing people get misconstrued. What's crazy? When he was sitting Terrence Mann in the 2021 playoffs, I was telling people like he should be getting the minutes over Reggie, because I feel like Reggie, yes, he has some good shooting performances in the Dallas, game 6 and game 7 with Marcus Morris, but I just something about T-Man was like, you know what, this guy is going to really help us because I think he matches up well with Luka. He's another 6'5" wing, and when he's in the game, good things happen.
Yeah.
So he's more of a spot guy to me. He's always been a glue guy, and I think that's what his position is on this team. Like you put him in positions where he's going to excel. Even with the Phoenix series, he was actually bothering Chris Paul in that first game against the Phoenix Suns. So I feel like you use him for that sequence. And I think that's what's going on right now. Even though he's not per se the point guard, Paul George is handling the ball more, which is why I believe that Wall, I want him to start because here's the thing. I'd rather have PG being my two-way threat than being a playmaker because it's like, can Paul George handle the ball? Yes, but he's very highly turnover prone. And I feel like just Wall being there, he's going to play make for Kawhi and PG to make it easier for them on the offensive end. But I just don't think he's got enough time to play. He's only gotten like 22 minutes a game, but yeah, he's still averaging the most assists on the team, and he's still giving us 11 points per game. The field goal percentage is down, but I think if you actually put him with the stars, I think a lot of things look different.
I mean, the thing is we haven't seen it. They haven't tried that. So, again, in the beginning of the season, before it started, I said I want John to start because he looked better in the preseason. We never have gone with that. I think the only issue that we'd run into potentially if John started is the second Kawhi and Paul get the ball and look to go to work, whoever's guarding John Wall is going to leave him to try to double team. And then we swing the ball and doesn't want to shoot the ball or he can't shoot the ball or whatnot. What do you say to that? Because that's definitely what people are going to say.
No, I feel you, and that's the only thing really that can be concerned because John's a streaky shooter. Like, there's games that I'll see he shoots like 3, 4, 5, and there's games where he'll shoot like freaking 1 for 4, 1 for 5. So he's a streaky shooter. I mean, yeah, that's something a good concern. I feel like the only thing about it is when they have to deal with them point guards like Jamal Murray, Steph Curry, other Western Conference dynamic point guards, I'm just concerned if T-Man's going to be able to, keep up with those dynamic guards.
Well, what other choice do we have? We don't really have anyone better that can guard those guys. Maybe Nico Batum.
Man, I'm gonna tell. Hey, you know what, man? Yeah, that's probably gonna be the guy, Nico. But it's like, even he's getting a little old. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah.
Nico's kind of slowing down a little bit too.
For sure. That's why I think Terrence is probably the best bet to throw on these kind of star players because he's got the energy, he's got the youthfulness, and he does make his defensive mistakes here and there, but overall he is good laterally. Just needs to, keep doing a good job of staying attached, getting over screens.
Yeah, and I just want to be more aggressive on offense, man. I just want to be like last night was a good game for him, but I want him to do that more. Like look for
that's the one
more.
flaw. That's the one flaw really in Terrence is his
Right.
lack of aggression on offense.
Right. We're gonna let people in. You want to let people in a little bit right now?
Yeah, go for it, man. Yeah, I got a little bit of time.
Right, so I'm
probably gonna watch the Laker game
right now. Yes, sir. And let me also ask you this last question, bro.
Go for it.
Do you think Kawhi has owned LeBron even past? And I got to with my friends about this today. I said, bro, if you look at the head-to-head matchups between Kawhi and LeBron, Kawhi has been owning him, like in head-to-head matchups, even before the Clippers and with the Spurs. Like he's just been owning LeBron. Do you think that Kawhi is LeBron's kryptonite?
I don't know if he's LeBron's kryptonite because the only reason why I can't say that is because since Kawhi Leonard hit his prime, we've never seen him play LeBron in a series. And regular season's all cool and stuff, but you already know players like LeBron, this far into their career, they don't care about a regular season loss here and there. And I don't think I can say that anyone owns LeBron until they beat him in the playoffs multiple times. I think the Warriors own LeBron, but I wouldn't even say Steph Curry owned him. You know what I mean? I think the team was just better. And I'm not even like a big LeBron defender. I give him a hard time all the time.
For sure.
But hey, I will say this, man. If you want to go against LeBron, Kawhi Leonard is as good of a guy to have because he has good success against him.
Yeah, my thing with Kawhi, what I love about him, man, is What did he shoot, like 65% last night? Something crazy like that.
Oh, was he what 11 for 16? So I don't know the math off the top, but
bro, his game is just like just strictly
69%. Jesus,
that's crazy. Like, remember the series against the Mavericks where he shot like 62%?
Unheard of.
That's like, you're not supposed to do that as a guard. You're not supposed to.
As a wing player.
Yeah, man. We'll see what happens. But as we're letting people in, let's go through some of these comments, bro. Let's see if you want to answer anything. What do you feel about, let's see, LeBron's 46 points? Says, Kes, my man said the 46 came with no intention to defend and keep other players on the other end. So how do you feel about LeBron's 46?
As we said before, man, it didn't scare anybody. You know what I mean? Here's the thing that LeBron does now compared to in the past. The last 2 seasons, he's shot more threes than any seasons of his career. What LeBron became so amazing at, and what's given him such an amazing career, among other things as well, is his ability to get to the paint at will. When he gets to the paint, he's drawing multiple bodies, and then he can kick it out to open teammates, get him going. When he's just shooting a bunch of threes, it's not putting any pressure on the defense. We're living with that. We're going to put our hand up and say, if he makes it, good shot. If you don't, you're not getting anyone involved. You're not breaking down the defense. You're not hurting us at all. So he can just keep shooting threes and get his 46. It doesn't matter. And plus, what the guy said in the comment is true. He was sitting on the block, not playing any defense at all. You can say it's because of his age. You can say it's because he has to conserve for the offensive end of the court. But there was one time where Rocco got the ball in the perimeter, and LeBron had the most pathetic excuse for a closeout, dude. And Rocco just blew by him. He wasn't playing any defense. The only hustle defensive play he had was when he tried to save the ball and he fell over the first row. But that was last season's LeBron to me. A lot of points. The Lakers starting out terribly, trying to play catch up, and never really making a run because they can't get stops. So that, to me, it was not an extremely effective 46 points.
Yeah, I think what it was, to be honest with you, I'm going to be honest with you, I think it was more so he wanted to score on us because we were the last team.
Oh, 100%. He knows it. He knows it.
So he started shot jacking. And
although at the same time, can you blame him for the shot jacking last night when the other players are playing that trash?
No, I can't blame him. I think here's the thing about I look at playing styles, right? So if I look at a guy who's not getting contributions from my team, I look at myself, okay, what am I doing can actually help bring the best out of my teammates?
It's facts.
So what I love about Kawhi is if you notice, he kind of carried that Spurs mentality to the Clippers as far as letting everybody else eat and then getting his right after. He affects the game on both sides of the ball, plays winning basketball, where he almost 100% of the time gets contributions from everybody else. Here comes Norman Powell. Here comes Paul George. Here comes Marcus Morris. Here comes Robert Covington. Here comes X, Y, and Z, Reggie Jackson. He's got those guys really buying in to what he's doing to the point that people follow him in their lead. So with LeBron, sometimes I feel like, yeah, he doesn't get the help, but he also doesn't allow his teammates to help.
Oh, that's one of my biggest criticisms of LeBron throughout his career is that I think that a lot of his unselfishness is a little bit misinterpreted by people that think that just because you get assists, you're unselfish. Dude, we're both point guards. I know what it's like because I was a selfish kid at times. Like, I wanted to be the guy that you score, but it has to be because I'm giving you the ball. That's selfish. Just because you get an assist does not mean that's unselfish. The most unselfish thing to do is play without the basketball. That's why I think Steph Curry is such a great role model for kids, because he has really shown how you can affect and make players better without the ball. You know, I think Larry Bird, Tim Duncan, like these kind of players also did that super well. And I think LeBron does make guys better, but certain play styles, spot up shooters, pick and roll guys that can feed off his plate, with guys that need to rock with the ball a little bit, I think sometimes he can at times stunt them with